Welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Dan McFarland.
I'm student meteorologist Zach Covey. Good Thursday afternoon, and Daniel, it was a chilly one this morning.
It really was. I know I woke up from the heaviest jacket I had, even a hood to put on because it was just that cold out today.
Exactly, and you know, I had an 8:30 a.m. class this morning, and with that wind factoring in with the temperatures, we saw wind chills down into the mid to upper teens. Now it's going to be yet another cold night tonight. We'll have those details coming up.
I believe it, for sure. It'd be that cold.
and also some sunny skies are coming up. So we've got a little of everything coming up and some warm temperatures as well.
Yeah, this weekend will be a little bit warmer than it has been the past couple days. Go up, but then we have something else that'll come on through that might ruin that for us.
Exactly. So we're looking at kind of a little of everything over the next week, as well as a hard freeze warning in effect yet again tonight. It'll be our second night in a row. So cooler temperatures as well.
So for that, make sure to cover up your plants and your pool pumps and everything you can that could freeze. Cover up people too.
Cover up your people. You need a big wool blanket. That's what I mean, I'm in the studio right now. I'm already shivering.
Yeah, maybe we should get a blanket for the next part of this so we can feel a little bit better.
But hey, I think Shane has a blanket out at the wall. I'm not 100% sure. So Shane, do you have a blanket out there for?
Afraid I don't, guys. It is cold enough that we could use it. We woke up to 31 degrees this morning and only climbed to 44 degrees. Not exactly record-breaking here, but cold enough to need those heavy jackets. Here's the exact progression we saw over the last 24 hours. We dropped very rapidly yesterday evening to 35 degrees, rose a little bit in the midnight hours, and plummeted to 31 degrees, to which we woke up this morning, climbing steadily but coldly up to 44 degrees this afternoon. I had that heavy jacket on as I was walking around all day long, and it was crystal clear in the skies over Tallahassee today. That high pressure is in control right now, and that's responsible for the beautiful sunny weather and the cold, we're sad to say, as well. So let's break down what we've got in store for you on the show tonight. We're expecting another hard freeze, sub-freezing temperatures this evening, and a sunny start to the weekend with a bit of a chance of rain increasing by Monday, when temperatures will be climbing up again to more seasonable conditions, to which I'm looking forward to. I know you guys at the desk are too.
You're right. Those warmer temperatures abound coming in this weekend, and that is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, well, to turn everything upside down, there's actually something going on in Australia right now.
Exactly. In the other hemisphere, where weather moves from north to south, we're looking at two major hurricanes, or tropical cyclones they're called.
That's right. We got a Category 5 and a 4, and the 5 is hitting the most populated coast in Australia along the Gold Coast there.
Yes, Tropical Cyclone Marcia, a Category 5 in our scale, with winds, I believe, up to 183 miles an hour, made landfall earlier today in Queensland, about 420 miles north-northwest of Brisbane, if you guys know where that area is. It's basically right around Surfer's Paradise, just a little north of it, so that surf is actually swelling up.
Yeah, I mean, it's real good down there right now, about 5 to 8 feet with calm winds, but in a couple days, it'll all be over and the hurricane comes on down.
Exactly. Once that hits Brisbane in a little bit, it's just going to keep on going. And also Cyclone Liam up near the Northern Territory. Category 4 won't really affect much. But we'll take it out to the local with me. I think it's about time I give you a local forecast. And, well, we aren't seeing a tropical cyclone. We aren't seeing anything too major. Just some cold, 43, partly cloudy skies, and a dew point in the single digits. You don't see that often. 6 degrees as a dew point. Northwest wind at 12. Checking out our satellite and radar, nothing else. I mean, we're looking at clear skies. Just a few lower clouds near the coastline starting to push up near the Apalachicola region, as well as Carabel in about the next 15 to 20 minutes. So just a few clouds overnight. Our temperatures, they're much warmer than we saw this morning. 43 degrees in Tallahassee, 45 in St. Mark's, and 48 there in Apalachicola. But check up near Valdosta in our Georgia areas, 37 in Valdosta, 41 in Thomasville, those blues indicating the 30s that are also going to begin to seep back down into our region tonight. Our dew points, single digits, 3 in Quincy, 6 in Tallahassee, 9 in Monticello, 7 in St. Mark's. It is dry out there, folks, and this dryness is going to continue into the first half of your weekend. We aren't looking at any rain chances to really pick up over the next few days. That relative humidity also going to stay rather low. So it's going to be a dry, cool day over the next few days. Futurecast temperature is going to reflect that as we go into tonight. 20 degrees, 19 for Tallahassee. I think this model's a little overdone. I think we'll be a little warmer in the city, but cooler outside of the city. 19 in Thomasville, 19 in Bay Bridge, 19 in Mariana, 19s around the board. A little warmer near the coast, 31 in Apalachicola, and 24 for St. Mark's. We start it back up tomorrow, warming back into the 40s and 50s. 48, again, a little on the low side with our model. I think we'll be right around 50, 51. Also 50s near the coast, 48 in St. Mark's and 50 in Carabel, before we have a cooler night, not as cold, but still another cool night on Saturday, and then it'll warm up into the weekend. Tonight, we're looking at a hard freeze warning, our second in a row, I should say. Hard freeze warning already in effect. It's going to be a cold one, so bundle up. The wind at north-northwest, 5 to 10 at 28 degrees we're sitting at. Tomorrow, 55 and a chilly start in the a.m., again with that cold temperatures and that wind, east-northeast, shifting to the southeast by the afternoon at 5 miles an hour. And then on the sand, don't really know why you'd want to go to the beach, but if you do, it's going to be cold and also a windy one, east wind at 10 miles an hour. Surf 1 to 2 feet, so rather low surf. And then we're going to warm up in this weekend. Cold temperatures starting on Friday, 55 degrees, and then we move in to the 70s by the weekend. Sunny start to your weekend Friday and Saturday, and then a rain system begins to move in Sunday through Tuesday before yet another warm-up by midweek. Daniel, tell us more about what's going on around the southeast.
Yeah, well, you know, Zach, we're not too much better around the southeast. You see, you were talking about 43 in Tallahassee. Look to our north, Atlanta, 26. I talked to my girlfriend yesterday who lives in Atlanta. She said it snowed a little bit there. And Savannah's at 34. Really, it's looking real bad up in, you know, Wilmington right there, 26, and over Tupelo, 29 there. A little cloudy there also. Moving on to 24-hour temperature change, this is what we've seen happen. You see 10 degrees. Most of us would probably think that's probably about 20 or 30 from the feel of it. Looking further down south, they've seen changes also. Miami and Key West, both at 6. Savannah at minus 15, so the big winner there. For satellite radar, this is what we've seen going on. Not a whole lot. You see all this behind me is from that front that passed through. So we're about all clear here. There will be some clouds moving their way on through here soon, but that's not too much to worry about until probably late weekend or so. We'll see those come on right in. Well, taking a quick look at the water vapor map, you see that front swept off and where all that dry air is coming through. And you see all that dry air right to the south. And those we'll be expecting to, you know, get a little bit more moist in our area. But if we go ahead and look just to the north of us, it's a lot wetter up there as far as the atmosphere goes because they have some snow coming on through. And, you know, they've had a bad year for that so far. They've just been being snowed on and even rained on a little bit further south. Cold, messy, not too much fun. So I guess we're kind of lucky with this dry air right now in a way. Quick look at our futurecast. Like I've been saying, we're all clear for now. Still very cold. As we click this through, though, you'll see that rain does start to pop up. And look at that mix that's going into Alabama and even some snow coming down in from Tennessee into Huntsville right there. And as we go ahead and move this through, there's not a whole lot of rain coming our way for Saturday. Maybe dipping down. You see it Saturday night and into Sunday morning potentially. And you also see Atlanta's going to have a little bit of a mix there on Saturday night also. Well, tonight's forecast, we're going to see 28 degrees up to North Atlanta and Montgomery. Up into Tennessee, you're going to see in the teens. And look at this, Wilmington over there is going to see about 10. And, you know, Key West usually sees nice temperatures here, but 48 for them, not a whole lot of fun for them either. So that's just the way things are going. Quick last look at tomorrow's forecast. We're going to see 55 all around the state. Until you get to the south, we're going to see about 65. Savannah, Atlanta, not a lot of fun in the 30s and 40s. But, Zach, looks like we're back at the desk. So what else do we have going on right now?
Well, we've got what you pointed out on the Futurecast. Yet another storm system that will affect us Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but it's also bringing some icier conditions for Atlanta. We're going to begin to see some freezing rain on Saturday and Saturday night as well, and a little more icy conditions for them. Of course, everybody remembers the Atlanta storm last year. Mm-hmm.
So if we have all that going on, I'm sure to the northwest this could be absolutely miserable with snow. Yes. And I know to the west there's another system building up off the coast of Washington right now.
Yet another system, and that system off the coast of Washington will continue to watch. It will get its act together in a few days' time, so we don't need to worry about it right now. But Boston, yet again, hardest hit already. Saw a system you'll see coming up in your winter weather with me. They just had a system pushing off the coast, and now we've got this new Midwest system. Could easily bring them another dose of snow by the end of the weekend. So it is going to be yet another snowy forecast for Boston.
Jeez, hasn't been a fun year for them at all, but right now we're going to send it out for a look all around the country with John.
Yeah, just about cold and snow across the eastern half of the region. If you're in the eastern half of the country tonight, east of the Mississippi, you're going to be expecting record low temperatures basically everywhere east of the Mississippi. 27 right now in Memphis, though 26 in Atlanta, 43 in Tallahassee. And that's about where we've been all day. If you want the warm air, you're going to have to head out west. 60s and 70s across the entire western coast there. 50s up towards the northern Rockies, though. They're going to stay warm compared to us. 53 degrees. We like to pick on Billings up there, but they were about 10 degrees warmer than us here in Tallahassee today. Another line of snow picking up intensity across the midsection of the country. Kansas City and St. Louis, as well as Joplin, picking up on the snow this afternoon. Boston being plagued with that snow up north, and that's where we're going to go up to buried Massachusetts here across the eastern parts of Massachusetts and up in toward Bangor, Maine. They've had a low pressure system kind of just sitting around that region. This is going to finally kick out during the day tomorrow. Unfortunately, that's going to be followed up by the next system, as we'll get to in a second here. Here's the jet stream basically all over the Dakotas down into the middle section of the country here. Light snow falling from around this region. Lincoln and Kansas City picking up a couple of inches, but this is going to become a lot more impressive here across Arkansas over into Mississippi. Memphis is going to get into that snow again later this evening, and it's going to become quite messy across most of this region. Little Rock is going to be really the keystone for the messiest weather over the next couple of days. Plenty of moisture coming over the Rockies and down into the upper Mississippi Valley, down into the southern Mississippi Valley for tomorrow. And this is what it's going to look like here on our weather model here. Starting, again, watch the clock here at 6 a.m. This is all freezing rain and sleet. And we could actually have some hail involved in this and a little bit of thunderstorm activity tomorrow afternoon as this kicks out towards the east. Snow up into St. Louis, up into Chicago tomorrow afternoon. Sleet again across parts of northern Alabama, Georgia, again starting to pick up on that freezing rain. Some spots could have 1 to 2 inches of sleet and snow across Tennessee, where they saw it earlier this week. And this is all going to head off towards the east and into the Carolinas again, picking up a lot more sleet than they've had in quite a long time. 1 to 2 inches again up into the mountains. Asheville picking up some more snow off towards the west, possibly some thunderstorms from Huntsville down into Meridian, Mississippi, off towards the west there. And this is going to head up the east coast, bringing possibly some rain for those folks up in Boston. That's something new here. For temperatures, though, we're going to be cold for now across the eastern parts of the country. 6 degrees in Boston, warm off towards the west. As we head into the watches and warnings, the big story right now is going to be those chilly temperatures feeling like the negative 20s. Here's a look at that ice accumulation of upwards of 1/4 of an inch in southern Arkansas tomorrow. Here in the Big Bend, though, we're talking about that hard freeze. Morning here, temperatures in the feeling like the mid-20s overnight going into the evening hours. And then we're going to take it off to Daniel now with a look at the current temperatures. We're going downhill, right, Daniel?
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. I mean, it's real nice to see what everyone else is going through compared to us, because you think you're cold right now at 43, but those people are getting snowed on and have wintry mixes, even up in Georgia. It's absolutely crazy. Here we are right now for our temperatures around our area. 43 right now in Tallahassee, a little bit cooler up in Thomasville, reaching into the 30s. We'll not maybe get the freezing tonight. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and look at our 24-hour temperature change. You see we have had -10 here in Tallahassee. Not a whole lot of fun. Yesterday felt a lot better. Like I said earlier, it doesn't feel like 10 degrees. It feels more like 20 or 30. Looking up north, you see Valdosta with 13 there. And down at the coast, only about 6 difference, because they're a little better off there with warmer weather than we are. Well, satellite and radar, not really much to talk about here. All clear for now. No whole lot of cloud cover. We'll expect some this weekend when that rain comes around. So we're going to go ahead and look at our current temperatures again for spread out just a little bit. You see Panama City at 44, Pensacola at 43. Along the coast right here could reach into the 20s tonight. So if you're headed that way, just keep that in mind. And if you're driving back, visit, make sure you cover up the plants and so, even if you are in Tallahassee. Current wind really all coming out of the north, 12 miles an hour here. I think we're the big winner. You see Quincy only at 7. Along the coast, a lot calmer until you get to Apalachicola, which is about 10 degrees. 10 degrees wind. And here is our wind speed for the past 24 hours. You see that we've had 22 dip down to 5 at night, and then it popped back up this morning at 10 a.m. for that 20-mile-an-hour wind speed, not a whole lot of fun. And tonight's forecast, we're going to see a low of 28 tonight, and really all around the area is going to be in the 20s, so you do need to make sure to cover up the plants and be prepared for that. Keep the heater on because you probably will need it. If there's one night this year where you do flip it on to the high heat, now is probably that time. Tomorrow, looking at 55 as a high, so we are bumping up slightly. By this weekend, it will be looking a lot better. You see wind will shift in the afternoon coming out of the southeast at that point. A lot calmer. You see 5 miles an hour compared to 10 right now. So we go ahead and look at our 5-day forecast for the next few days. You see on Friday, the clouds aren't really that much of a factor, and then you get into the weekend, starts to get a little bit cloudier, and then on Monday and Tuesday, we see some potential rain coming through, but those temperatures are popping up a little bit until Tuesday. And then you see also during this weekend, might be a slight chance of rain, but we're going to go ahead and send it off to the desk with John and Shane. John and Shane, what's going on?
Well, the main story right now is that cold air. Tonight is going to be one of the coldest nights in the last couple of years, really, here across the Big Bend. We're going to be touching some record lows across some parts of our area tonight.
Indeed, we're talking lower 20s here, maybe breaking the teens. A number of models have been saying that. We're working out the details right now.
Yeah, Tallahassee downtown, no worries about a hard freeze here. We're going to be right around 28 degrees downtown, but down towards the airport is where we're worried about that hard freeze between the 18 and 22 degrees down at the airport and across most of those rural areas in our viewing area.
Exactly. You see, we're here in Tallahassee, we're protected by what we call the urban heat island, where temperatures don't get nearly as low here around all the asphalt and cement and buildings as they do out in the urban areas with lots of open plains and much colder conditions.
They have the same condition with the heat island up in Valdosta and also down in Apalachicola at times, although Apalachicola, their kind of safety is the water down by the Gulf of Mexico. So St. George Island, no threat of a freeze down there tonight.
Yep. And for talking about the low temperatures, let's talk about what we saw today here in the Sunshine State. It was quite cold out there around the region, and it was actually getting down into the 30s. We got to 31 degrees here in Tallahassee. We're about to throw up a map and show you that, and we're going to see, yep, 31 in Tallahassee, broke into the 20s to our east and west there, Pensacola and Jacksonville, both dealing with the upper 20s there. We've got quite a similar story in store for us with low of 43 in Tampa, 45 in Fort Myers this morning. So how have the temperatures risen today? Well, it's gotten a bit warmer, though it still feels like frigid jacket weather here in Tallahassee at 43 degrees, likewise and sunny in Pensacola. And then out there on the peninsula, 48 in Orlando, 52 in Fort Myers, 58 in Miami. We're usually talking about how warm they are. They're the ones bundling up just as well. This is quite cold for them, just the same. And it's not just cold, it is dry out there, quite dry. In fact, these are dew points, and they are referring to degrees Fahrenheit. 6 here in Tallahassee, 6 in Jacksonville. And the lower this number is, the drier the air is above that point. And it is quite dry, dry as a bone, we might say here on the Panhandle. So that means chapped lips and static cling are big concerns to deal with right now, as well as fire weather, possibly. So the driving factor in this cold is the high pressure system to our north, which has been pushing all this air out of the north. Notice the winds coming from that direction, and quite intense speeds as well, 12 miles per hour sustained in Tallahassee. And that's really driving the cold air into our region and keeping it feeling especially chilly with notable wind chills. But once we get past all that, it is still bright and sunny outside here in the Panhandle. That dome of no trouble is really keeping it clear across the Panhandle and throughout the entire state of Florida. So no worries on the matter of clouds or precip or anything like that. What we're talking about, like John and I were just saying at the desk, is the cold. And we've got quite a few watches and warnings to deal with. A few red flag warnings in South Alabama. That's referring to how dry it is out there and that it's easy for brush to catch fire. We've got a hard freeze warning from Pensacola, including us in Tallahassee, over to Jacksonville, and wind chill advisories to our south. We're dealing with this especially cold weather. Now up north they wouldn't think so much of these temperatures, but in South Florida regions like Naples and Miami, they are really not used to this kind of temperatures, and they want residents to take precautions. So let's talk about exactly what the temperatures are going to do over the next few hours. They're going to plummet here in Tallahassee. They're the models have us flirting with the teens, and it's going to feel like it all the same. Exactly the kind of weather where we want to break out those really heavy jackets. But we've got good news in store. Once we get out to Saturday, one more chilly morning to contend with, and then temperatures really jump back up in the afternoon hours, getting up into the upper 60s, which I am really looking forward to. Throw you a few more numbers. For tonight, we're calling 28 in Tallahassee, 30 in Tampa, jumping up to another chilly day with 55 in Tallahassee, 56 in Tampa, and 65 in Miami. And now let's throw it out to Zach for the winter weather forecast.
Winter weather, winter weather. We got snow falling across most of the nation. We've got yet another system coming in we were talking about earlier. But first, before we get into that snow and the winter weather, we got to check out the snow cover map. And yep, northeast, you're looking at it. Heavy snowfall amounts, pinks, purples, blues. Northeast has been hit hard this year. Boston, basically the sole focus of it, ground zero according to most of the media outlets, and Maine as well, getting quite a lot of snow. We'll take a look in just a second, but the National's showing we just had one system push off the coast, beginning to move into Nova Scotia, and we've got yet another system beginning to push through Kansas City and Memphis and Arkansas. Well, that system's going to blow up, and yet again, the Northeast is in the bullseye. Current temperatures, though, what a contrast, right? You've got warm temps up in the up in the western region, 79 in Phoenix, but then you're looking at Kansas City, 15, Minneapolis at 8, Detroit at 4, and Boston at 19. So we are focusing on the eastern half of the country, really, as you can see all of these wind chill watches, warnings, and advisories, and then a mess right here in Arkansas and Memphis. Memphis, you've got the winter storm warning. Sorry, the word escaped my head. Winter storm warning in the pink, winter storm watch in the blue, and a winter weather advisory in this purple color. It's a mess out there. Let's take a look at our northeast, and you can begin to see, well, our storm system beginning to push off the coast. Boston was getting some snowfall earlier, finally beginning to push off. Maine, you were under a winter storm warning earlier as well. Bangor still getting some of that snow affected as that storm system begins to push off the coast. We can say goodbye to most of that snowfall and say hello to this. Yet another system, kind of a line, not really huge right now, but it is going to begin to push eastward. As it does, that snowfall is going to begin to accumulate. And how much? Well, we can take a look with our snowfall accumulation graphic, and you can begin to see on our light and heavy model. We set this into motion. This is Friday at 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. It's beginning to move towards the east, and that snowfall is going to begin to really pick up and ramp up as it moves east. Boston could actually get some rain out of this as the storm system begins to move. Warm front's going to kind of begin to push up. We're going to have to watch to see if Boston is actually going to get some rain. Definitely a very welcome rain for Boston. 8 tonight in D.C., 6 in Boston, -7 in Detroit, and 1 in Minneapolis. That's actually warm compared to what they saw last night in the negative teens. 21 in Minneapolis tomorrow, 60 in New Orleans, 82 in Phoenix. I think we all want to go to Phoenix if we can. Let's send it back to the desk with John and Shane with some more about, I believe, weather history.
Bad, Zach. You're supposed to sing that Frozen song that we all remember, because that's what we're going to be seeing in Arkansas tomorrow. Freezing rain across most of Arkansas. Some accumulations from there over to your hometown of Huntsville. We'll be seeing some freezing rain and some sleet tomorrow.
Yes, and the regions like Huntsville aren't used to freezing rain and sleet, and that creates for some treacherous travel conditions when black ice builds up on the roadways. Then people's brakes aren't going to work. It's very dangerous out there.
Yeah, and going up north of that, they're going to get some more snow in northern Tennessee and up into Kentucky as well.
Yes, I know that my friend in Western Kentucky was out of school this week because they had a lot of snowfall in that region, and looks like they're in for more. Let's throw it out to the wall for our last local.
Yeah, we're going to head down towards the south. No snowfall, really no rain until the later part of the week here in Tallahassee. High pressure is still in control. You can see just a few clouds, and these clouds may actually keep temperatures up during the overnight hours here, but most of those are going to skate down towards the south tonight, and those temperatures are going to fall right after sunset tonight. But this morning we made it down to 31 degrees. Some spots could be upwards of 10 degrees cooler during the overnight hours tonight. Tomorrow we're going to be about 15 degrees warmer in some spots. here in the Big Bend. Some places down towards the coast could be upwards of 60 degrees tomorrow. Outside right now, already 39 degrees in Quincy and also in Monticello, 37 in Thomasville, where they're starting to fall already. Down towards the south, where that Gulf water is still in the 50s, still a little bit warmer down there, 48 degrees in Apalachicola, 43 in Carabel right now. But the wind speed really kicking those feels like temperatures down 12 miles an hour, and that's straight out of the north here in Tallahassee. Same thing down in Apalachicola. Factor those two numbers in and you get the wind chill here. 37 degrees is what it feels like outside here in Tallahassee. Those are going to feel like freezing here in about 2 hours, so about 8 or 9 o'clock is when it's going to start to feel like freezing. The other factor that's really factored into your clothing forecast here, you might have felt that static electricity today. Dew point of 6 degrees. It's very, very dry, bone dry here across the Big Bend. And up north is where you find the bone marrow because it's extremely dry up towards Atlanta. Dew points down there about 10 below zero up there, up into the Atlanta metros. Here tonight in the forecast, here in Tallahassee downtown, we're talking about 28 degrees around most of the area, including the airport here in Tallahassee, down into the low to mid 20s, 22 degrees in St. Mark's. Hard freeze warning is in effect for tonight, so temperatures will be below 32 degrees or below really 26 degrees for 46 hours across most of our region. 27 degrees, some of the warmer spots down there in Franklin County. The wind is going to go calm shortly after midnight. We're going to start off with winds of 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's going to make it cooler or feel cooler through the evening hours. But right after sunset, those temperatures are going to fall, as will the wind as we head through the late evening hours through past midnight. We're going to start to see that wind calm off. 55 degrees is where we're heading tomorrow. Chilly start in the morning, but it's going to feel a lot warmer tomorrow afternoon than it will today. That wind is going to shift from the east-northeast tomorrow about 5 miles an hour during the afternoon hours. And then really the big story for the next couple of days after we get through that cold, the warmth returns finally as we head in through Sunday. Look at 75 degrees. That's going to feel amazing out there Sunday afternoon. And as we head through the early parts of next week is when we start to talk about that rainfall again. Next storm system moving in on Monday and Tuesday, and then we cool off just a little bit, but not quite as far as we did the most recent couple of days.
Indeed. I can't say I'm looking forward to breaking out the umbrellas, but the warmer conditions that are going to come along with that are going to be quite welcome indeed.
You're probably going to still need that wetsuit down on the beach. Those water temperatures are still in the 50s down there, some spots even getting into the 40s if you go towards our west. But basically everywhere else, if you're staying on the beach and out of the water, it's going to feel amazing here.
Yep, summer it might be down in Australia where Daniel wants to go surfing, but it's from winter up here and we're feeling the effects.
We're going back up towards 75 degrees Sunday. It's going to feel a little bit cooler as we head into Tuesday, mainly some rain cool there on Monday. And then that cool front comes through Monday night. We start to cool off just a little bit, but we'll head back towards a little bit warmer on Wednesday.
Yep, once we get to Wednesday, that's going to be perfect weather, up into the 60s again under sunny skies. It's going to be a nice break from the freezing rain and all the precip we've been dealing with over
the next couple of days. Take a picture of you throwing those jackets back into the closet there, because you're just going to have to keep them there until that umbrella has to come back out the early parts of next week. So send those to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep, and you can watch us anytime on livestream.com/FSU Weather. Thank you for tuning into this Thursday night edition of FSU Weather. I'm Stu Meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
I'm Meteorologist Jonathan Bellis. Stay warm out there, Tallahassee. Warmer weather on the way.